Jen friends, I'm Major Gauravari and you're watching the Chanakya Dialogues English. But if China has, sitting in Beijing, somebody has printed a map, you want us to carry out a surgical strike against China for printing a map? Come on, have a heart, Mr. Sanjay Raut. Have a heart. If you go by this logic, ladies and gentlemen, every president after Truman, till Barack Obama, should have been arrested and put in prison because all of them. Jen friends, I'm Major Gauravari and you're watching the Chanakya Dialogues English. Like this video, subscribe to our channel and don't forget to press the bell icon. Two things before I start. Number one, thank you very much. We have reached the 2 lakh mark, 200,000 subscribers, and we hope that with your blessings and with your support, we can take it to 3 lakhs, 4 and then 5. Point number two, we've recently launched a new channel called Majorly Right. I would request you to go to Majorly Right and subscribe. It has these short snippets of information. No long videos, 3-4 minute videos, and several videos a day, which keep you updated with what's going on, the latest news with a quick capsule analysis. Now, coming to our news of the day, the biggest news that is trending now is that China has formally accepted and issued this map. Remember that map that we spoke about yesterday, in which the South China Sea was part of China, Taiwan was part of China, Arunachal was part of China, and every other place in the world was part of China. Now, China keeps on doing these things without taking any real action on ground. These small tricks of salami slicing, etc., China tries to do, but overall, China is not willing to commit. And today, we are going to discuss the reasons why China is doing what it is doing and why it will not go further than threats and maybe small little action on ground. You must have seen satellite images of China building underground bunkers. Now, this is 70 to 80 kilometers inside Chinese territory. 70 to 80 kilometers inside. But that does not stop Mr. Sanjay Raut of the Shiv Sena from saying that if Modi dares, he should conduct a surgical strike on China. Surgical strike for what? For building bunkers in its own territory, 70, 80 kilometers behind, inside Tibet. For what? Surgical strike for what? Number two, surgical strike on China because China printed a map. If that was the case, we would be conducting surgical strikes against almost everybody. It doesn't work like that. All these are political statements. All these are political statements and, and they are said to get attention. Whenever politicians feel there is an attention deficit, because politicians live for the media. Politicians live for the media. Politicians live for the social media. So the best thing is abuse the Prime Minister, say something against India, say something against the armed forces, become famous overnight. Now, who's Sanjay Raut? People stopped talking about him for a very long time, ever since his government was out of power, or has been out of power. The Shiv Sena has been out of power, or the original Shiv Sena has been out of power for a long time. Now, how does Sanjay Raut suddenly tell the world that I exist, I'm still breathing, I'm alive, yeah? Take me seriously. So he says Modi should conduct a surgical strike. For what? Now, what has China done? Has China entered India? If China enters India, it will be war, not a surgical strike. It's going to be war. There's going to be no surgical strike. But if China has, sitting in Beijing, somebody has printed a map, you want us to carry out a surgical strike against China for printing a map? Come on, have a heart, Mr. Sanjay Raut. Have a heart here. I mean, this doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, now, this whole map thing has been absolutely dismissed by the Ministry of External Affairs and, pretty much Dr. Jaishankar has said, I don't take all these things seriously. China keeps on doing all of that. China in turn has said, don't overreact to all this. It's just a map. China will do something and say, don't overreact. But I think a very balanced statement came from Dr. Shashi Tharoor. I think he spoke a lot of sense, commonsensical things. Because he's been a diplomat for a very long time and he's been in the United Nations and he's been in the central government. He knows the topic. He knows his job. And that is why I respect Dr. Shashi Tharoor so much. You see, he said two things. First of all, he said that, China gives stapled visas and we need to start doing the same thing. Yes, I agree. And then he said that let us stop saying that we, agree with the One China policy, or even if we don't say it, let us come out against the One China policy very openly. We should do that. And I agree with him. We should simply tell China that we do not agree. What will China say? We don't agree on Kashmir. Don't agree. Who cares? Who cares if China agrees or not? See, China must be taken head on. I'm not advocating war here. People accuse me of being a warmonger all the time, which is okay. I'm a soldier. That's what I'm supposed to do. But having said that, that is not my aim at all. Trust you me when I say this, that is not my aim. All I'm trying to say is that China understands and respects the language of force. China does not understand the language of diplomacy. It takes great pride in calling its diplomats wolf warriors. A wolf is not known for diplomacy. A wolf is known for its aggression. It's known for attacking people. And that is why China calls its diplomats wolf warriors and says that, hey, you're wolf warriors, go and attack other people. This is China's mindset and mentality. And this is what we are faced with. So I agree with Mr. Tharoor. We should simply, like Dr. Tharoor said, we should simply tell China that we don't agree with one China policy. And I would go a step further and say that we recognize Tibet. We anyway have, the Dalai Lama. His Holiness the Dalai Lama has been in India for decades upon decades now. There is a Tibetan government in exile. If we can have a Tibetan government in exile in Dharamsala, why can't we have the embassy of Taiwan in India and an Indian embassy in Taipei? We should do that. We should tell China that, you can't attack at will, you can't try to enter our territory. You can't show aggression all the time without paying in return. It's not permitted. There will be a response. And the response will be that India will take stern and tough measures against China. It's good that we have, blocked their apps. It's good that there are ED raids happening against Chinese companies. But more than that, there needs to be some sort of an awakening amongst the people not to use Chinese products. Hit China where it hurts. If you hit the Chinese army, it will pass a very strong message to China, but it will not hurt China actually as a nation. What will hurt China is when you hurt their economy. And their economy is not simply that we stop buying Chinese products. That is one part. But that is part number two. When more and more companies, American companies, European companies leave China and come to India, that will cause China's downfall, because that is how China made money in the first place. So this part is very important, and I agree in toto with Dr. Shashi Tharoor. China has also made, as I mentioned before, made, these bunkers, and China will keep on doing that. China will keep on doing that because our fighters are in such a position that they can directly strike at the Tibetan plateau. They can strike at Chinese positions, and China needs to protect itself. And this is a defensive measure that China is taking. Ladies and gentlemen, now Chandrayaan 3, look at these pictures, lovely, beautiful pictures of the moon. And Chandrayaan 3 has discovered sulfur in the moon. Water in the moon existed. We knew Chandrayaan-1 had already found out Chandrayaan-1, and Chandrayaan 3 has also corroborated the same thing. And it's also studying the atmosphere, seeing what kind of deposits there could be, so many things, geological things, other things, which Chandrayaan 3 is checking out. Now, these photographs, which you're seeing on the screen, is the Aditya L1. This rocket is going to take off on the 2nd of September. It's going to take off on the 2nd of September. I again request you, speak to your bosses and say that, we're going to watch this. Work can wait. Ladies and gentlemen, this is history in the making, actually. What we are seeing is history in the making, and don't miss this chance. 2nd of September, Aditya L1 takes off for the sun. It will cover a journey of 1.5 million kilometers, that is 15 lakh kilometers. It will travel in deep space before it reaches where it has to reach, and then it will study the sun and pass down data. So, it's phenomenal coming to this level, India's space program coming to such a level. I think it's absolutely phenomenal. Do remember, 2nd of September is when Aditya L1 takes off for the sun. And by the way, Aditya means sun. Aditya is a Sanskrit word which means sun. Ladies and gentlemen, in the last news of the day, Russian bases, several Russian bases have been attacked by 10 to 20 Ukrainian drones, but the most dangerous attack happened in Pskov, that area, that place of Pskov. It's happened where more than 4 transporter planes have been absolutely destroyed, and I think this is the first time in the Russia-Ukraine war that drones have been used to such a devastating effect across. They've been used to such a devastating effect, and today, Russia is in a bit of a spot because Now, Ukrainian drones are reaching. There have been drones attack inside Moscow. You're aware of that. Now they're attacking air bases. And this is what they're doing. But here, the role of NATO and the role of the Western countries is that they are not actually putting manpower to fight the Russians. They're just giving money. Tomorrow, let there be culpable deniability. Sure, we gave weapons. We give weapons to everyone. Sure, we gave money to Ukraine. We give money to everyone. But we did not fight against the Russians. Because in this war, Russia will win. This is sure. I mean, there is no denying that Russia will win. It is the bigger part, Russia will win. And Russia has appetite for, Russia can take casualties. This is part of Russian history. Look at the battle of, Stalingrad. And if you look at the Battle of Stalingrad, Russia took tremendous casualties. In the Second World War, Russia took tremendous casualties and Russia won. Russia has the ability to absorb casualties. It's an unforgiving land, extremely cold, absolutely vast, either 10 or 11 time zones. There is no way Russia can lose this war. But what the Americans are doing and what the Europeans are doing, in fact, the NATO setup, they're giving money to this corrupt guy called Zelensky. And here is a report from the CIA. CIA says that Zelensky actually took the money that was meant to fight the war and he stashed it away in his personal account. Zelensky is a thief. I'm not saying that Russia's attack on Ukraine is justified. It is not. But Zelensky is a thief. And Zelensky knows he's losing. And Zelensky knows that he'll lose. But Zelensky is still going hammer and tongs against Russia till the time he gets the money, because somebody else's son is getting killed, some wife is getting widowed, not his. His children are safe, his wife is safe, he's safe, and that's it. And he has the blessings of the entire Western Bloc. Zelensky goes down in history as a great hero, because the Western media is portraying Zelensky as a hero. And nobody's interested in. You see, today you have people filing charges against President Putin, saying that, he should be arrested. The president of Russia should be arrested because he attacked Ukraine. If you go by this logic, ladies and gentlemen, every president after Truman till Barack Obama should have been arrested and put in prison, because all of them. Did somebody arrest the American president who ordered for the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Hundreds of thousands of people died. Generations were lost. Who was the president of the United States of America who ordered napalm and Agent Orange over Vietnam? Who ordered, all these actions inside Central and South America? Who ordered the Korean War? Who ordered the invasion of Iraq, of Libya, of Afghanistan? Who ordered operations inside Iran? Who ordered the drone strike in Pakistani tribal areas? You see, I'm not trying to defend Putin here. All I'm saying is that the West has two standards. One for Russia, or one for the others, and one for the West. And if you are white European, white American, the standards for you are different. I mean, you can, even if you're not white, let's look at Obama. Obama ordered the displacement of millions of people. He ordered the death of thousands of people. During his time, wedding parties were wiped out by Hellfire missiles shot off from Predator drones. And Obama got the Nobel Peace Prize. Just think about it for a moment. So ladies and gentlemen, if you like this video, please press like, subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram, Bharat Mata ki Jai.